I am Dr. Amabuohene and the founder of Menfit Foundation. One may ask, what does Menfit mean? It means Mentoring for Youth Development. And it focuses on the youth, as the name suggests, with emphasis on the girl child. I had the rare opportunity of being a physician to a head of state, President Kufuor, when he was president. And as the first female and youngest, I decided to put together a book which was titled The President's Physician. I needed an avenue to be able to get the word out there. And that's how Menfit Foundation was born in 2015. But we're here today to talk about the 5x5 project. And that comes from the President's Physician book, because that impacted a whole lot of lives. And I wanted to give other women the opportunity to also tell their real life stories, focusing on their challenges, because that is what I did in the book, The President's Physician. So, what are mentors? Do we have real mentors or do we have fake mentors? And that is what we're here to talk about. So I have with me Golda Kufuor,
Yes.
who is the chief executive of Good Juice. She'll tell us a bit about herself. And then I have Dr. Yvonne Mawudor, who is a doctor. So anyway, and they're going to talk to us about their whole idea about mentorship and who real mentors really are. So I'll start with you, Yvonne.
Okay.
What is your idea of who a real mentor is?
Okay. As Doc has already mentioned, my name is Dr. Yvonne Mawudor. I happen to be a medical doctor, a radiologist in training at Kolebu Teaching and Referral Hospital. I also am quite passionate about mentorship and also medical education. So I run a medical podcast called Medic Diaries, whereby we talk about the general issues, ailments which are affected the day-to-day Ghanaian, and basically debunk a lot of the myths and misinformation that is around. So in terms of mentorship, for me, as you had asked earlier, it is basically someone who has gone ahead of you, has unfortunately or fortunately seen the pit holes, and they give you a shout out that, oh, Yvonne, don't take this route. There's something here. Okay, maybe use as another route. As simplified as it is, it actually has a lot of technicalities and a lot of intimacy that you need to have with the mentor. So that is my idea of what mentorship is.
Right, so we'll come back to you, but Golda, what is your idea of mentorship, like having a real mentor? What does it mean to you?
Right. When I think about mentorship, I see somebody who guides other people based on their experiences. So, like Yvonne said, they've walked the path before you, so they are able to help you avoid mistakes, think better, and then grow. So, someone who has actually experienced something ahead of you is who I see to be a mentor.
Okay. All right. So you have talked about walk the path. I know you walk the path of entrepreneurship. So
Yes.
just tell us a bit about yourself with your, who is Golda and your entrepreneurial journey. Just a short submission on that.
Okay. My name is Golda Kufuor, the founder and CEO of Good Beverages Limited. My business is into manufacturing and distribution of fresh juices. We have a brand called Good Juice. That's what's on social media. So the main mission or aim as to why this business was created was to build wellness in Ghana. You see quite a lot of people moving away from carbonated or sugary drinks, and we wanted to create something that people can trust in. So we came up with the juice business. It's a brand that you can trust. No sugar, no additives. you can be rest assured that you're drinking blended fruits,
Okay.
raw, pure, natural. So our aim is to build wellness in Ghana and not do the messy stuff. That's how come Good Juice came about.
Okay. All right. So both of you have spoken about your mentors telling you that there's a big hole in front of you, what the pitfalls are. Do you think if your mentors actually point out those pitfalls to you, do you actually listen? Because people think that, oh, okay, let me make my own mistakes. Maybe it was a pitfall for you, but it's a stepping stone for me. Who knows? So, do you actually, Yvonne, do you think, you guys actually listen to when those mentors tell you that this is what it is?
Honestly speaking, not all the time. And I have to admit that. And it turns out to be a regret in the future because you understand why they said do not actually go that route. Because we're human beings, and again, I mentioned because of the intimacy with the mentor that you have, it all depends on the level that you guys are at. If it's something very new and you're just going along and you haven't really established the two of each other, like your rapport, for example, chances are you may not always listen to what they're telling you. But with my experience and with the mentors I've had, with time, when they tell you, my friend, don't do this, as much as I don't understand it, I actually listen because from past experience, I've realized that, okay, I shouldn't probably have just gone rogue, so to speak. Yes.
Because I think mentors normally, I mean, this is just my view, but you guys can educate me better. They normally would have your interest at heart. They don't, say things for saying sake. They've either lived it or they've been with people who have actually lived it, or they've seen it happen and the consequences have not been fantastic. But let's look at the positive sides of it as well. What it is I would like to know from you, Golda, what is one of the key things, if you can choose one, you look for in a mentor? I mean, you'll be surprised. People will look at beauty. Somebody will look at, oh, she's so cool. Oh, she's so sweet. Oh, she's so intelligent. Oh, she speaks well. So, what do you think, in a room full of women, what do you think will attract you to a particular person who you think can mentor you?
I would look out for confidence. Also, when I'm looking for a mentor, I would look for someone that can give me access. I say this to say that beginning of my business, there were so many. I did a lot of trial and error, and I wish I had access to someone that had already walked the path before me to advise. Any revenue that came into my business, I would use part of the money for business expenses and personal expenses.
Why not? No, of course, I understand. I think
But
it's
then,
not
yeah,
good business sense, yeah.
being exposed to different perspectives about how to go about business and all that, I came to learn that my business finances is different from what I look for my personal finances. So I would look for access, someone to guide me as to this is what you should do and that. That's why I stated earlier that mentors are people that would help you avoid certain mistakes that you do.
So would you say that, again, Golda, would you say that you dig deep into the moral grounding of the mentor, their ethics, you see, because I believe that a mentor can be, somebody who, I'm Christian, but if I met a Muslim woman who I thought was somebody who I admired or thought has walked the path and is going to be able to help me even at my middle age period, I still would probably go for that person. Does that apply to you, or do you think that you would want somebody who shares the same religion as you, who shares the same vision as you, who shares the same thoughts? Especially religion. Let's start with religion. Does it matter?
This is funny because I think religion matters. There was some points in my business life where I wanted to pay tithes from my company's profit. And then I got a Muslim investor. It's like, we don't pay tithe. So I think religion plays a role. I would look for someone that I share the same religion with, someone that shares the same thought as I do.
Yeah, yeah. So, but I mean, Yvonne, what would you say?
I am in agreement with Golda. Life is hard already. I'm not saying religion is hard, but life is hard already. You want the person who's guiding you to at least have the same, if not similar, background to you, that understands your mindset when you say, okay, I want to pray over this. I have a feeling over this, that this is the path I want to do, or this is what I want to do. It doesn't mean that if we're of different religion, you cannot contribute to me.
Right.
But it definitely contributes more, and at least spiritual wise, when we are of the same religion wise. So it's a how would I put it? Yes, definitely religion will
Play a
contribute,
role.
but it doesn't mean that you would have to completely ignore the other religions, because I mean there's some ideas in Buddhism, for crying out loud, which also are in relation to Christianity, but you just never know. So yes.
Right. What about where you come from? Because that's what Memphis is all about. It's about real mentors. So, for example, the 5x5 project, we're talking about African women and African women in the same context. We're all African. If somebody tells you that my mom whipped me when I was a child, it makes sense to you. Because a Caucasian is unlikely to tell you that my mom whipped me. If your mother whips you, you are off to, you are in trouble. Again, something like in our time, they'll say, oh, I used to go and fetch water, from the tap, or I used to fetch water from the well, or whatever. So the context, the person's background, the person's, what's the word, where the person comes from, does that make a difference to you? Do you think you can have a Caucasian or somebody who is not necessarily African, if we're talking about context? Does that make a difference?
Great question, actually. So the people that have inspired me or mentored me are not people from Ghana. One person that has actually inspired me is Vusi. He's a South African business leader. And so where the person comes from does not necessarily play a role when it comes to mentorship, because I have learned so much about how to do business just by listening and
Well,
doing.
okay, listening to a podcast like this, I guess,
Exactly.
so you may not necessarily know the person personally.
Yes,
But
exactly.
then, the person acts as a mentor for you.
Yes.
Last thing that we need to talk about, not the last, but what about the sex of the person? Does that mean, for example, Yvonne, you are in medicine. Would you be more attracted to a female mentor than you would be, or does that depend on what the person is mentoring you in? Of course, if it's business, you will think that, okay, whether the person is male or female. But if it's moral, ethics, how a woman should dress up, how a woman should run a family, do you think that you'll be more attracted to a particular sex or person? Would that make a difference?
In my opinion, it would, because the gender, again, is the foundation for that intimacy you're having with that person. It is just like any other relationship you would have, whether it's family or friends and all. The foundation is key for me. Gender plays a big role. I'm not sure my male mentor is coming to tell me that, Yvonne, I don't think you should be dressing like this. This is too seductive, or what. I may understand where he's coming from, or I may actually not even understand it and misinterpret it in a very different light altogether. So personally, for me, gender does matter. It doesn't mean, however, that it just because you're of a different gender from myself, I cannot get a contribution from you. Yes, but I am more biased to
the female gender.
yes.
Right. So the last question again. I keep saying the last, but the conversation goes on, and so. But for me, I'm focusing on this 5x5 mentorship project. It has two things. It's literary, meaning that it's a book. And the second thing is that these are 5 African women coming from 5 West African countries, because this is the West African story. So, Golda, where do you get a lot of your mentorship talks from? Not that you are relying on just one person, but if you were to find mentors, where would you go looking for them? Are you going to read books? And you have to be honest here.
Yep.
Although this 5x5 is not targeted at people, normally we try and target young girls because they are still in the formative years. Everybody needs a mentor. I need a mentor right now. But would you look for it on social media? Would you look for it in books? Or would you look for it in these talks that we have nowadays? Everybody is a coach. I mean, where would you go looking for mentorship? Not a particular mentor, but where would you go looking for mentorship ideas?
To be honest, all my mentorship, it has been from, I've had digital mentors. So from social media, reading books, listening to interviews, YouTube videos, Instagram, content on social media. That's how I learn. So that's
for you, that works for you.
It works perfect for me. I've not had the traditional, like the formal, physical, side-by-side mentor.
Okay.
Having access to someone, back then in the day, you have to have someone that's physically close to you, like your pastor, your boss. Mine has been from digital mentors.
Okay.
A lot of them. A lot.
That's interesting. But do you get to meet these people?
It was one time Vusi came to Ghana.
Yeah.
And then I met him. But then all the rest I haven't met before.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe you're going to change now. Because you're going to have real mentors you can see, you can feel, you can... What about you, Yvonne?
I have enjoyed having both, actually. For the digital aspects, I like to really diversify myself. I have a podcast, so I'm already really into podcasts. I listen to quite a number of them. But luckily for me, in especially my medical career, I've had people who've actually guided me, and it's been a really, really good, tremendous help. Because it saved me from a lot of problems. It saved me from a whole lot. I wouldn't say I have like a life coach, but I've managed to have both of them. So I'm really enjoying it.
Yvonne, I'm disappointed. I thought I was your life coach.
No,
that's a joke.
So I've enjoyed the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
I really have.
Which is good. Which is good. And that's what we're trying to portray, with this 5x5 project. So we are hoping that in addition to Golda, you having digital mentors, you would have real life mentors who you can go to. You're not going to tell them all your life secrets, but at least you can go to and you can relate to them. The context within which they operate is similar to what you operate. They may not be doing juice, but they may be doing something entrepreneurial that is similar to what you're doing. So I think that we've come to the end of our chit-chat, and we would like everybody to know that the 5x5 project is real. The book is going to be launched on the 25th and the 26th of March, and it is both for the girl child and the boy child, because they've always said that if the girl child is well tutored, well trained, well mentored, and the boy child is tagging behind, where some of us are going to get married. I'm already married, but you're going to have relationships with, these people, and therefore we're trying to drag everybody along. Thank you so much, Golda.
Thank you.
It's
for
been a
having me.
pleasure having you.
Thank you.
And thank you so much, Yvonne.
Thank you, Dor.
All right then.
Enjoyed myself.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.